The divorce papers shook slightly in my hand as I watched my husband's face. There was no sadness or regret there, just the subtle strain of holding back a smirk. "So, you're actually leaving?" James asked, feigning concern, his fingers already intertwined with Rachel's. His mistress sat right next to him on our designer sofa, a piece I'd worked 6 months to afford. "I'm taking all my personal possessions with me," I stated calmly, setting the documents on the coffee table between us, just so we're clear. Rachel's gaze swept across our living room, lingering on the custom light fixtures, the meticulously arranged furniture, the hand-picked decor that had transformed this outdated house into something straight out of a magazine. "This place is perfect," she sighed, tracing the velvet armrest. "It's exactly what I've always dreamed of." "Your old clothes and whatever, just take them," James said dismissively. "Honestly, they only remind me of our miserable time together." I nodded slowly, not bothering to correct his assumption. "I'll have movers here tomorrow. Just remember, you agreed to no division of property." "My name is Lauren. I'm 29, and I'm an interior designer. This is the story of how I stripped more than just a house bear. 3 years ago, I married James, truly believing we were equal partners. He was 34, worked in construction management, and had inherited his grandparents' house shortly before we met. The place was structurally sound but hadn't been updated since the 1980s. Think beige walls and scuffed laminate floors. James had furnished it with hand-me-downs from friends and budget store basics. When we got married, I saw its potential. With my design, expertise, and my savings, I transformed that dated property into something extraordinary. Every single item was chosen with care. Mid-century modern furniture that complemented the home's architecture, striking lighting that drew the eye upwards, custom window treatments that perfectly framed the views. I documented every purchase, partly out of professional habit, and partly because I'd learned early in our marriage that James was reckless with money. That carelessness extended to our relationship. The small things piled up, dishes left in the sink, despite our agreement to share chores. Complaints about meals I'd prepared after working 10-hour days. Dismissive comments about my focus on aesthetics. But I kept trying, convinced that marriage required compromise. What I couldn't compromise on was discovering his texts to Rachel 6 months ago. She was 25, a temp in his office with an Instagram feed full of aspirational home decor she couldn't afford. Their messages made it clear what had attracted her to my husband: access to the beautiful home she assumed he had created. "James has such amazing taste," she'd written to a friend. "His wife just works all the time and doesn't appreciate what he's built." I saved screenshots of everything: the messages, the dinner dates, the hotel receipts. Not for a confrontation, but for confirmation. I needed to be absolutely certain before making my next move. When I finally contacted Rachel directly, suggesting we all meet to discuss the situation, she seemed more excited than embarrassed. She arrived at our house wearing a dress that cost more than her weekly salary, clearly bought for the occasion. "I just want you to know," she began immediately, leaning forward with practiced sympathy, "I never meant to hurt you, but when two people connect the way James and I have, let's just get this over with." I interrupted, sliding the divorce papers across the table. "James and I agreed before marriage. No division of property in case of divorce." Rachel's eyes lit up. She squeezed James's hand. "See, I told you she'd be reasonable." James nodded, relief visibly easing his shoulders. Lauren has always been practical. It's one of her better qualities." The slip didn't surprise me. He'd been calling me by the wrong name for months. "Let me show you around," Rachel said suddenly, standing up. "I have so many ideas for this place." I watched silently as she walked through my carefully curated rooms, trailing her fingers over surfaces, mentally erasing my presence. "These light fixtures are amazing. And this dining table, is it custom?" she gushed. "It is," I replied. "Everything here was specifically chosen to complement the space." "Perfect," she breathed. "I wouldn't change a thing." "You won't have to," James assured her. "Lauren's just taking her clothes and personal stuff, right?" I nodded again, seeing no reason to elaborate. "The movers will be here at 9 a.m. tomorrow." That night, I stayed in the guest room, listening to them whisper and laugh in what had been my bedroom. I didn't sleep. Instead, I reviewed my inventory lists one final time, ensuring nothing had been overlooked. The movers arrived precisely at 9 a.m. the next morning, 2 large trucks and 6 workers. I'd hired the best company in the city, one I often collaborated with for my design clients. Morning, Miss Turner, the foreman said. We've got the inventory list you sent. Comprehensive job today, huh? James and Rachel emerged from the bedroom, still in robes, looking annoyed by the commotion. Why are there 2 trucks? Rachel asked, frowning as workers began carefully removing the living room artwork. How many clothes do you have? I didn't answer, simply handed the foreman my tablet with the complete inventory. The men worked efficiently, wrapping each piece of furniture in protective blankets, carefully detaching light fixtures, even removing the custom window treatments. It took 20 minutes for James to realize what was happening. What the hell? He shouted, rushing toward the workers dismantling the sectional sofa. Stop, that's my couch. I handed him a folder. Here are the receipts. Every piece of furniture, every appliance, every light fixture, and every piece of decor was purchased by me with my money after we married. His face drained of color as he flipped through the pages. You can't. We've been using these things for years. Usage doesn't transfer ownership, I said, and we agreed. No division of property. You're taking everything. Rachel's voice rose to a near scream. Not the house, I clarified. That belongs to James. Just everything in it. By noon, the living room was empty except for the built-in shelves. By 2 p.m., the kitchen contained nothing but the cabinets and countertops. By 4 p.m., even the curtain rods had been removed. James alternated between pleading and threatening. You'll regret this, he hissed while the workers carefully packaged the surround sound system. I'll sue you. On what grounds? I asked quietly. We agreed in writing. No division of property. You keep what's yours. I keep what's mine. As the workers began loading the last truck, a small panel van pulled up. 2 men in coveralls approached the house. Mrs. Turner, we're here for the wallpaper removal. Rachel, who had been sitting silently on the floor since the dining chairs were taken, looked up in horror. The wallpaper, custom printed, I explained. Designed specifically for this house. Cost nearly $8,000. My company. You can't. Take the walls, James shouted. Not the walls, I corrected. Just what's on them. Like you said, I'm taking all my personal belongings. I left them standing in an empty house with bare walls and exposed outlets where my designer sconce had hung. The house looked older than before I'd transformed it, all its flaws now visible without my carefully placed distractions. 2 weeks later, James called. His voice had lost the confidence that had once attracted me. Lauren, please, he began. Rachel left. She said she couldn't live like this. We need your help, I asked. I meant I need your help. I was wrong about everything. Wrong about what specifically? I asked, though I knew exactly what he meant. He sighed. About us, about Rachel, about the house. I didn't realize how much work you'd put into making it beautiful. Rachel kept complaining. Nothing was good enough. The second-hand furniture I bought looks terrible. She said she didn't sign up to live in a dorm room. That sounds difficult, I said, feeling nothing. Could you? Would you consider coming back, or at least helping me make this place livable again? I thought about the furniture now arranged in my new apartment. I'd already sold most of it. Too many memories. The proceeds had funded a complete renovation of my new space, with pieces that better reflected who I was now. I'm afraid that's not possible, I said. But I wish you luck with your decorating. I hung up before he could respond, then blocked his number. The divorce had been finalized a week earlier, officially ending our marriage. Some spaces, once emptied, should stay that way. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.